Hi, my name is Jen, and I have Myasthenia Gravis. I am 32 years old. I was urged to do a video to show people the face of myasthenia from my fellow friend in Myasthenic Heather under Heather Boo 74 on YouTube. So this is my first video, and just to tell a little bit about my disease manifestation. It looks like going back, I had my first symptoms in December, November of 2008, and they were purely ocular. That's the hallmark of this disease. Patients will notice drooping of the eyelids and double vision. At that time, my life was very busy, and I've got 2 kids, and I work full-time, and I thought that it was just exhaustion. But my first symptoms that I noticed were extreme exhaustion. Normal exhaustion for regular people is getting a little tired, maybe taking a nap once a week. I would want to sleep for hours and hours at a time during the day. Couldn't stay up to watch a show at night, and going to the store would get fatigued very easily just walking around. As far as my eyes were concerned, I started losing my depth perception. My husband would joke around that every time I turned to the right, I'd run over the curb, and we thought I was just clumsy. I later learned that's part of this illness. Also, I had blurry vision at night, to the point where it became impossible for me to drive at night, because when there were any oncoming cars, I couldn't focus, I couldn't see, and that's just not safe. But fast forwarding to June of 2009, I had not felt well that whole month. It was about a month after contracting a flu virus, and I had a lot of upper back and neck pain. And the first week of June, I had a few episodes where my eyelid on my right would close and I couldn't open it. And if I tried to, my eye would start twitching and roll into the back of my head. We brought that up to the doctor, and before I could get in for my MRI, I had an episode on June 5th where my right side of my face fell, my mouth fell like a stroke victim, my arm and my leg on the left side were completely paralyzed. I couldn't control movement at all, and I was rushed to the ER. I spent 3 days there, and no one really knew what was going on other than I hadn't had a stroke. I had a lot of testing and follow-up appointments with specialists, but was pointed in the wrong direction. They sent me to cardiologists and a pulmonologist. The pulmonologist found that my diaphragm was so weak, my body wasn't getting enough oxygen, so I had to use an oxygen tank for the first 6 months. That was the time when we were really trying to figure out what was going on with me, and subsequently found out in October that I have Myasthenia Gravis. I was started on Mestinon, and that immediately took away the eye symptoms. 30 days later, my diaphragm strengthened enough that I was able to get off the oxygen tank, but I still have issues with diaphragm weakness. On pulmonology tests, I still show that it is affected by a neuromuscular disorder, which this is. Right now I'm starting to get winded. My breath gets a little heavier. It gets hard to talk, and my voice gets hoarse. So I might start out with a higher voice range and then sound like Patty and Selma on The Simpsons, who smoke 3-packs a day. That's really one of the most difficult things for me, because I've always been a singer, and I haven't been able to do that since I've had this illness. I just don't have the diaphragm strength to hold notes or to sing. Currently, medication-wise, for myasthenia, I take 10 milligrams of prednisone every day. Most people are on higher doses, but I had to have a hysterectomy at a young age, and they're concerned about osteoporosis with me. So I don't have the weight gain with the prednisone. I do have a little bit of increased strength from it, but they really don't want to go any higher in the dosage. And also, I take Mestinon daily. I take 60 milligrams every 4 hours, and I can add 30 milligrams in between if I have greater symptoms, if I'm going through a rough patch. And then I take Imurin, 150 milligrams daily. That's a drug that they give to people who get kidney transplant, organ transplants, so that their immune system shuts down. They want to shut down my immune system because it's attacking my muscle receptors. And then finally, I get IVIG every 2 weeks. That's a 6-hour treatment. It's by IV. They put an IV in my arm, and it's like getting a blood transfusion. They give me healthy donor immunoglobulin, and that is immune cells from a healthy person, so that I'm not completely stripped of an immune system. Otherwise, I'd be required to live in a bubble. And when you have 2 kids, you can't really live in a bubble. I still have major effects if I get sick at all, though. I go downhill fast. I have difficulty walking, difficulty using my hands, and vision trouble. Those are my major symptoms. The IVIG has helped me stay out of the hospital and has helped me stay away from a crisis. A crisis is when you are unable to breathe or unable to swallow, and I have had that happen twice. So I think that's enough information for my first post, and I will try and get on here regularly to educate and hopefully meet some other people going through the same disease. Thanks.